Right, hello everyone. First thing I've got to do is apologise for the bloody noise. I didn't time this print very well, so this is it's doing a 3D prototype print, and it's on 89%, so it should be done in about 20 minutes. So I have done some sound checks, and I think you can hear me all right. I'll sit a bit closer to the microphone. And any problems, let me know, but there's nothing I can do about it because I don't want to cancel it because this part's important, as you can probably appreciate. So yeah, it's been 2 or 3 weeks. Well, mainly because I was on holiday. And well, Appy wasn't. He's probably sitting there going, no, I wasn't on holiday, I was working. I'm going to try and make him blush today. Of course you won't see that because he's not on camera. So right, let's do a couple of updates. So just minor things. The tooling, you probably already know the tooling's been signed off and it's probably halfway through being made right now. So that's really good news. Also the new version of what we call the Slot Zero board is being I'm not gonna say developed because Appy's basically developed it, but it's been integrated with the controller that we chose. So they're doing all that work at the moment, which is great news. Making good. I think they've actually got a first board coming, so actually that's great news. So the tooling's on, well, not on target because, as you know, we're going to be late. I mean, you know, as you are going to be late, but it's actually going well as far as the tooling is concerned. So hopefully within 2 or 3 weeks, I should have some samples which I can test and we can put together the real things. So basically, the tooling, they run some tests off, they send them to me, and then I test the final chassis to make sure there's nothing wrong. And that'll probably be in a couple of weeks, which is fantastic news. Obviously, I'll update more as that comes on. Right, so as most of you are probably aware, if you watch the videos, and hopefully you do, I know some people like me to put this in some kind of text. I'm no good at that. But the ordering was going to get turned on today. It's not. It's going to be later. Well, probably the end of the week. There's a really good reason for it, but there's something that I need to get an answer on, which I'm going to come to. It's to do with Arcuda. I'm going to come to that later on. I was going to launch it anyway, but there's certain things I can tell you later, and there's certain things I can't tell you. So don't even bother asking. Yeah, I can't tell you because. But we're like this at the moment. Not with Arcuda, they're cool, right? It's all cool. But yeah, I decided to postpone it just to wait for this little bit of information, see if this information pans out or not, and if it does, we'll tell you, and if it doesn't, I'll probably tell you anyway. But I'll keep the gob shut for the time being. So yeah, it's been delayed. It just means you can spend your money on something else. Well, don't spend it all. I have noticed a handful of people who are actually mostly my customers, have logged in and seen, oh look, I can order. In fact, let me bring the site up. Here we go. So they've jumped in and they've seen this and they go, oh, quick, let's jump in and do it. Well, unfortunately, it all worked. The systems all worked. We've done the testing. It's basically all ready for you guys. Just in case I haven't told you about it yet. So now, it's important to understand that there's this video you're looking at. When you finally do get to my site, you log in, you'll see this video appear. You must watch it. Don't do the order unless you've watched this video. Now I know it's 45 minutes long. You know what I'm like, but if I scroll down, I've not mucked around with this. You can see it's really broken up into everything about what you order. Please go through it. You can go, even if you go through half hour, there's a certain point where I start talking about the extra bits and a bit of in-depth. You should watch that if you want to order any of that. Yeah, so make sure you watch it. I know one of the reasons is, one of the points I mentioned in there is, this is from, I've done 2 Kickstarters now, and half the problems and the delay, real problems come because, and I'm not accusing anyone of anything, right? But it's just the way it is. People don't watch the video, don't watch it. Oh, I don't want to watch all that. And then they don't figure out what they're doing. They get lost and then they email me. Then I've got to reply 3 or 4 times. That's okay when you got half a dozen. When you got 1,400, it's not going to work. So it's very important that you watch the video. It's 45 minutes out of your life. Trust me, it took a lot longer than that to make it. If you can watch that, I think it answers nearly all your questions. And so that's very important. But yeah, so the key message in the video is, well, watch the video, but also make sure you got your order right, because if you don't add the bits you want, then come back and say, oh, can I add some bits? It gets confusing, complicated. You'll end up paying double shipping, all that kind of malarkey. So it's best that you just really think about it. Don't rush into it. Press pay. Make sure you got it all right. Okay, that's I can't stress that enough, because as you can appreciate, we're quite busy and we're trying to get this all done. I'm at the moment looking into, do I get a bigger property? Oh God, it's bigger premises. So it's there's a lot going on. So if you can save me some time by actually going for the video, if there's some question you've got that's in the video, not in the video, by all means ask it. Okay. There is one other thing that Starius, one of the backers, has really updated my Discord site. We may actually launch that a bit earlier, so you can all get on there and chat. Maybe not, I don't know yet. But once I do release the information, you'll get a link that'll invite you to the Discord channel, and so you can get help from each other. If you can do that, that will save me a lot of work. Of course, if there's a question, I will. If it's a new question that there is no answer, I'll come on and answer it. Right, so that's the boring bits out the way. Yeah, so this is the video. You'll see this on the order page. But at the end of this, the last section of me waffling is going to be about Arcuda. Some of the bits about Arcuda. And after that, Q&A. Right? So we know how this is going to go. Right, but before then, this today I want to talk about the GBS control system. Okay? And I really want to talk about that. So what I thought I'd do is just show you a few pictures. So basically, if you don't know about this, if you just jumped in on the Kickstarter, you won't realise that we actually started this project around October, November of 2021. So this was a long time ago, and I started sharing this with my Patreons. As you can see, the design was pretty rubbish. The first one was pretty rubbish. But you know, the concept there, and I made, I think I might have some other pictures going. Oh, here, see, look, see, I got the renders. You know, here's some renders of what it was gonna. This is the original V1 prototype. We're actually on version 4, so you know, it just shows how far back that is. And this is all the renders done by Paul Kitchen, which of course got a lot of interest. I'm not sure if I've actually got in here a picture of it. I can probably. Oh no, there's a panel. Yeah, let's show you when we the first one, 2021 December. Oh yeah, there you can see it. It was very basic, the monitor. Is there any better pictures? No. It was very basic, but it worked, and it was just to prove the concept, just to make sure I could do something like this. So that, you know, end of 2021, that's when that started. Let's get rid of that. Let's come back to my pictures. Bear with me. Right. So what I want to do is, obviously the chassis design, as you know, has taken me quite some time. It's evolved over 3 or 4 prototypes. We're on the 4th one now, which I actually left in China to help speed them along with the tooling. But you know, this is only part of the product. The important thing was the electronics inside. Obviously, picking the panel was a big deal. Now, I know I originally said I was going to do a cheaper panel, a TN. I blew that out the window, so I just couldn't get a panel that was. It just wasn't worth it to save $50. It just was not worth ruining a great product to have something like a TN panel, which, to be fair, if you're sitting right in front, they look fantastic. As soon as you go off axis, they look rubbish. You'll see this later on because Appy's got the one I rejected. So if you notice, off axis, it all goes a bit pear-shaped. But anyway, I settled on the IPS. And then the controller, I'd gone through a couple of controllers, actually from the same companies, you're probably aware. And I was wiring them all up cables. It was going to be basically a lot of cables internally. But one of the important parts of this project was it needed to have a way of inputting, for me anyway, SCART. So I can import, you know, plug in an Amiga into it, plug in, I do now, but I didn't have at the time of it. Lots of retro machines, either from components, so on. And whilst there are other products out there more expensive, great products, don't get me wrong, they're quite expensive. But the GBS was really good, and there was this. I'm telling you all this, so you probably know it anyway. There was the GBS control, and so I actually I got in touch with a guy called Byron, because if you can see this picture here, this is Byron's board. Basically, it had a SCART on it, and you see those 2 slots there was for GBS control. So when you put it all together, this is the later version that he did for me. This is kind of the one we was actually going to go with. So you can see this is the SCART, the GBS, and the GBS control. And it was performing really well in the monitor. That was really the way it was going to go. Well, this is a bit where I'm making blush. But sometimes, now, let me roll back a sec. Sadly, Byron, because I was hoping Byron would be able to come on board, a bit like Rob Cranley, and help, but the guy, just like Rob actually, so busy, had no time. And so it was going to be, he gave me, this was the last board he gave me, and this was actually more or less there, so this probably would have been the one we would have used, put in with it. As you can see, a black version there. It would have gone black, but it was, so you can see, get the SCART, there you go. And so that gave the GBS SCART, GBS control, and that was going to be the basics of the machine, and it would have been fantastic, and I proved it because I was using it for ages. Anyway, sometimes you're lucky enough to meet somebody who you really should have met a long time ago, and I was fortunate, and I did, and I met this bloke Appy. And let me put a picture up. There's Byron and there's Appy. Alright, oh hang on. Let's put the pictures up, shall we? Here you go. So there's Byron and there's Appy. Unfortunately, Byron couldn't continue the project, which is fair enough. He's a busy man. But Byron really got me moving, because once I had that SCART, I knew what I could do. Anyway, getting back to it. So, as I was saying, sometimes you just strike it lucky, and it was actually, I won't go into too much of the details, but it was Appy that called me. I went to meet him, and over the last year, I think we've become really good friends. And but we work really well together. He puts up with, you know, my peculiarities, and I put up with some of his. But you know, I've always hoped I'd meet someone like this, so my crazy ideas can come out of here and be done. Because I can't do electronics. I can solder a little bit, but I'm bloody useless. My eyesight's so bad now. Anyway, I burn my finger more than solder anything will. But then Appy comes on board, and what we end up with, his first thing he did. Let me get it back up again. He did that. So as you're probably aware, the first board that I think this might have actually been the second, but the first real board was the same concept. So it was the GBS control on a board that had SCART, but it also had EGA and CGA. As some of you may or may not know, he's been working on VGA and retro video signals for quite some time, and so he's become quite an expert on like the old retro standards. So it was an absolute perfect fit for this project, and so I struck it really lucky, and I haven't said this in the past, but I do think I think we're going to do some better things after this. But let's get on to what he's done so far. So the reason for showing you all this, it's not just waffle. So basically, this is what we started the Kickstarter with. Okay, so the Byron boards got me up to the point of doing the Kickstarter, and then when we launched Kickstarter, I'd obviously met Appy, and then he developed this board, and we launched it on the back of this setup. So basically, the only real difference was it added CGA and EGA, which is a fantastic addition, absolutely fantastic, and it made it you know more flexible. If you've got CJ, EJ, or if you've got a Commodore 128, you can plug in the RGBI signal, and it will display it. And it's, I mean, you've probably seen the videos, the pictures, and so on. So that's fantastic. But now, as I said before, that my concept was always cabling these together, so it was always going to end up being pretty much not an expert's product, but something that's you have to be comfortable connecting wires up, and you know, to connecting this cable to that block and that block and so on. And that was the idea. And then one day we're going to a meeting, and he says to me, well, how do you fancy this? And you know, then he showed me the idea of the backplane with the slots. And fantastic, absolutely nailed it, because our board just becomes a plug-in. Yeah, all the cabling is done on the slot, but of course we still had our Zorro board, so we still had our slot 0 board, which you've all probably seen, so I won't show you. But that had cables, but the new versions having them removed. Now, I'll show you now the next concept. So this is all about GBS control board, yeah, not about anything else. So now we've got this version of the board, and this is actually the final. Ignore the important read notes. I grabbed it off one of my sites. Still got the cables, right? Oh, it stopped. Look, hang on. I'm just going to turn that off. Oh, that's good. Is that better? So, yeah, the backplane basically stops 95 to 98% of cables. Gone, right? Just plug in, because all the signals are on the socket, and you can see the pin edge connector on that. And that allows us to just plug a board in, and it just works, right? Which is absolutely fantastic. Now, there's obviously a lot of other boards. I'm not showing you everything here, but if you're probably aware, you can see you can't see the jog dial in it. In fact, actually, here's this board. Yeah, so that's this board. Ignore this because it's going to actually go on the back plane. This is a jog dial. There's also an OLED that comes off the back plane and allows you to control the GPS control via a jog dial and a little display on the front of the monitor. So this is why you'll notice on the when you go to the site, I've already added the back plane for £24, I think it is. So I've already added that on, and it's you can remove it. It's up to you if you want to move it. I beg you don't, right? Because we always was clear about this. It would be an extra, but we're trying to get the cost as low as we can. So that's been pre-added, but it's, you can see why it's so important. Anyway, so that's that board. But now I took a little system over to Appy to inspire him, and so we've been. I'm going to say the word we. If I say we, it's me. I mean Appy, right? I mean Appy. We've got the next board. Now this board is different. This is basically that hole on the last picture. If you see the GBS card here, that whole green board there, well, basically not the whole green board, but the main chip and the memory is now mounted, as you can see, right on the board. So it's a single board. Now, we do have a riser, which you'll see in a minute, and this works. This is working. So this is why I'm happy to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it until we got it working, in case there was any headaches. I didn't want to do anything to lead you up a garden path. And I also wanted to make sure we get supply of the chips. Which in fact, the chips cost nearly as much as if I'd just put a GPS board on, but that's another story. But now it's a single board. Now, obviously, this you'll understand. The original board was a 2-layer board. Appy will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty confident it was a 2-layer board. This board is a 4-layer with a really solid ground plane. So we've got, and Appy knows all about making the signals good. So this should be a really nice board. I have actually seen it working. It does look great. Unfortunately, he's got the old panel, although it looked fantastic on the old panel. In fact, there's a couple of slides you're going to see in a minute. It does look really good. Yeah, that board is absolutely brilliant. And if I can show you this version here, you can see on the edge now at the bottom, I don't know if you can see the mouse pointer, but the SCART, you've got SCART input, you've got on the right, you've got the CGA and EGA connector, and then there's a power switch. That power switch is the same on all cards. Back here's GPS control, and then you've got the audio input. Oh God. I'll leave that one for a minute because we got an audio input somewhere else. And these two switches are for the oh God, these are two for switching the color fix, that kind of thing. I'll come back to that one in a minute. So there you go. That's the board on the side view. A little bit closer so you can see a nice picture. And you got the right hand side. Just to show. Now remember, these are prototype boards. They're not finished, but they're, we got a new version. Now this one here, you can see it's got the actual riser board on it, which has got the component plug-in. So because there was no room on the back, so we had to put on a riser. So you can see there's the component inputs. But what that basically boils down to, and remember he's got a TN panel here. This is not the IPS panel, hence that mess at the top left-hand corner. But you can see that's rock solid. And I have actually seen this, and that display looks absolutely amazing. So if you're an Atari ST fan, this is going to be absolutely brilliant for you, because you're going to be able to plug your normal video modes into the RGB. And if you've want to use a VGA, that just goes into the standard VGA input at the bottom, and you switch between it. And we've got this nice little remote control now. And Appy's been quite clever with you can switch for the VGAs and it switches through. There was a couple of slides with one saying RGB and one saying SCART. I didn't bother including that. But just in case you Amiga guys think I've forgotten about you, there you go. So it's working. That's actually going in component, so it shows it's working in component. The other one was going in SCART. And here's one for the if you're a CGA or EGA. This is actually EGA. As you can see, it looks great, and it's doing everything it should. Now then, let's come to those switches, if you remember rightly. The little red switches. And what the little red switches do is... Now, I'm going to... Oh, my mouse is playing up again, isn't it? I'm going to... bear with me. Sorry, Mark. Right. That's for switching into mono mode. So now the important thing to bear in mind is... So I'm just going to have to... Every now and then this plays up. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this thing to connect again. Great. Stupid computers. Sorry about that. Right, let's make sure we're still streaming, all right? I assume everything's okay. It looks all right. Right, so this one is the mono. So basically what you've got is you've got 4 different color mono modes. Right, now this only works with the 9-way input, okay? Only works with the 9-way input. So that's CGA, EGA, and RGBI from like the Commodore 128. So if you want to, you can switch it and simulate mono modes. So what we've got is, hang on, I'm having to mess it. Oh, come on. Right, so there's the white mono. Here's a green one, light green. Here's a blue one. And, well, this is meant to be amber. I sent him the colours. He put them in, but they're a bit yellow, so we've got to tweak that to make it more amber. So basically, you've got these. If you're using them, you can put these in and you can create yourself like a mono display, which I think is fairly cool. And then this might tie into things like what are they called, terminals, that kind of scenario. Okay, so I'm actually really pleased with that. And all that basically is going through this board. Well, there's 2 boards here. There's the back plane you can see, and there's the prototype, our last version of the slot 0 at the bottom, which is Appy's main board. That's obviously got the bits bolted on top of it, whereas they can be incorporated into the design. And then, of course, the GBS control, the latest GBS control at the top. So I think when that board, that is the board, unless it's an absolute disaster, which I don't think there will be, that will be the board that we ship. Okay, because as you're probably aware, at the moment, oh, this is really annoying. Oh, it's working again now. Look, figures. So, when we did the Kickstarter, or actually, to be fair, when we did the Kickstarter, that was the board. This is the latest version of Appy's one before the new version. So that's kind of the latest board. And I was keeping it under wraps, but because everything's going so well, now that's the latest board. And it's going to be much more stable, much better. It's our board. It's not like slapping a board on top with lots of cables. It's all on a 4-layer board, so it's going to be brilliant. I'm really, really pleased with that. So again, going back to blowing sunshine up, Appy, I would never have got to that stage without Appy. And what it means now is gone from my board, which would have suited the people that just like playing with tech. It would have been great for them. But the person who just wants to buy, hang on a second, don't worry about that. For the person who just wants to buy a monitor, oh, I'm slapping the card to get more ports. They just slap the card in, screw it up, it's done. And that's, apart from a lot of the other tech, that's probably the most important bit. But having said that, of course, now we've got these really nice GBS board, which is going to be much better than the one I was going to go with, because we would have had a bit of noise for the cables and all that kind of mucking about. Now it's a board and it's much, much better. So We never got to this stage without Appy. Enough blowing sunshine. Right, so that's where we are now. And he did that last week, because just to be clear, these big red blocks here were. Oh, actually, hang on. These big rectangles. They were red. Appy, sort the colours out. Until we had to sort the colours out today. Did it in about 5 minutes, and yeah. So again, though, I sent him the figures, so it looked alright on my screen, but actually when he did it come back, it's a bit yellow. So whatever. We're going to tweak that. Right. Okay. So that's the where we are with the GBS board, which I think most people are ordering it. I think, I'll be blunt, you're daft if you don't. Right. I'm going to use my sales technique, but it's not a lie. After the Kickstarter, all the prices are going up. Seriously, going up. And they have to do that because we've got people who want to talk about distribution around the world. So we have to allow margins, and so some of these parts are actually costing quite a lot of money. So the price is going to go up. So if you're going to order, and if you want to order an extra one, as it says in that video, please watch the video. As it says in the video, if you want to get one at the Kickstarter price, feel free. If you want a second one, that is, or don't go mad. But order what you want, and in this batch, and you'll get it at the Kickstarter price. After that, if you come back later on, I've said this in the video and I'll say it again, if you come back, even though you're a backer, if you come back later on, it will be the higher price. So it does sound like a sales tech, but it is, but it's the truth. Because we think this is going to be successful. So I don't know about how successful, but we think it's going to be relatively successful. And so that's all good news. Right. Before I get to any questions, I'll have a swig of my drink. For those that are going to ask. Right, Arcuda. So, they're on a journey. Well, I knew this would not be easy. Right. I'm not going to go into too many details, right, because it's not fair. But they have... as you know, they make these the low latency, very low, almost 1 millisecond, but very, very, very low latency controllers and panels. Something that we can't compete with, because with our IPS displays, IPS instantly adds a fair bit of latency because of the refresh rate, but you get the other benefits. Now, don't get carried away with latency. It's about 16 milliseconds, which is a 60th of a second. I can't notice it, but a lot of people can. But this is for people who want that high-end gaming monitor, and they're on the case. And as it's ironic, the company, I think he runs the company. His name's Steve. He's really into the project. So I would suggest send him a message. Thanks for supporting the project. Just to show them just how many people are interested. I'm pretty confident people are going to rely. Well, I know this because we've had about 10-15 people go through the process testing the site. And already about 25% of people have ordered the Arcuda option as well as the standard monitor. Now, the one thing I'm going to say here is if you want the Arcuda system, now it's important to understand that they've got problems I knew they would have. Doing the controller is obviously quite complex, and they're working on that. It's all in hand. Hoping to get another bit of information out of that I could make public. But it's a hell of a lot of stuff going on in the background. But they are really behind this project and they absolutely love it. So I don't think it's unfair to say they've already said they want to help me distribute in Australia the monitors, which is great news because they've got a lot of experience. And so they're really behind it. And there is obviously going to be an Arcuda product with a controller and the panel, which is going to be in the region of $399, okay, and that will just basically just bolt straight in. There may have to be another bezel because I'm dubious that they'll get a panel that just literally supports one of my bezels. I don't think that'll happen, so we'll probably end up having to make another bezel, but hopefully not, but you know, maybe. So that's kind of what it's going to be. So, but the key thing here is that there is a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff. There is a lot of potential coming, which I can't talk about. But the system they're working on, and they've already said they're more than happy for me to quote to you this $399, not Australian dollars, US dollars, and that'll be their panel and controller. And so of course you need one of my chassis. Now here's the thing, so they're on my, when you get to order, please watch the video, la 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 la. On my video there is a section about the Arcuda. Now it says exactly what I'm going to say again now. If you're only buying one monitor, please buy one of my panels complete. Buy one of my monitors complete. Two reasons for this. Firstly, I budgeted everything and all the profit and everything around supplying the chassis with the panel. And now that's not the end of the world. And if you do want to go for the Arcuda version that you'll see, take out the one with the panel and add the Arcuda one. Bear in mind, you will not get one of my controllers. Okay, we're not including the controller because you're just going to throw it in the bin. I'm not having that. They're expensive because you don't make an awful lot of money out of the chassis because it's all gone on tooling. We make up our extra profit on the whole package with the panel. So you won't be getting the controller. Now the second reason for going for my complete solution and then doing an upgrade is that my panel and controller is only adding $150, which is on the site is £120. I put it as £120. It's not that much, and we don't know when the Arcuda upgrade is going to come. So if you buy the existing complete system, you get one delivered, you're working from day one, you're laughing, right? It's worth you doing that. Later on, if you want to upgrade, and this goes for everyone, right? Everyone. If you want to upgrade to the Arcuda, yeah, you can do that. Just take out my panel and controller, put theirs in and their panel, or if there's a new bezel, and away you go. But I do recommend it, and it does help the project. Although, to be honest, not including the controller helps because I'm not paying for it. But of course, that's kind of important that you understand that. Timing, I haven't got a clue. I mean, let's be honest about this. We really don't know because stars have got to align, and they have to make a choice. For example, it's going to be a 19-inch panel. I'm pretty confident about that. But if it's 19.1 or 18.9, my bezel's not going to fit. And even if it's a 19-inch panel, it's more likely not. It's more likely going to be one of the 16-1200s. We don't know. I don't know. I've got no answer on this yet. But it's probably not going to be the right size for my bezel. So I probably have to spend a few thousand getting another bezel made, and to fit that. But of course that takes time. So I'm guessing once I ship, it's going to be probably at least another 6 months before the Arcuda stuff ships. So if you're thinking of getting it straight away, I'm sorry. Hopefully you pick this up along the way. It's not coming straight away. Now I have noticed in the test some people have ordered both, which actually is not a bad idea. They've ordered one person's got like two full monitors and two Arcuda ones, so you know, Arcuda chassis. It's very important that when you do this, is you read the product page. Don't just add it, read it, especially the Arcuda one, because as I say in the video, it will have all changed from what you'll see on the screen in the video. It will all be changing, being updated and so on. But that update's not going to come till later this week, you know, so just do that. Right, so that's the basic update with Arcuda. It's still cool, right? This is their 20.1. I don't think they've got any 20.1s, and of course that won't fit. But they really are behind this now, and they put in a lot of effort actually behind the scenes. So they really invested in this. But if you want to get in touch with them and say hello and say, oh, I want one, just tell them. Yeah, just get in touch with them and tell them that you're back in the project and you want one of their panels, and because I'm sure they don't know how many they're going to sell. Right, that's enough of that. I'm going to now answer. I'm going to go for 40 minutes waffling. I'm going to go through and answer all the questions at the moment and work my way through them. Hi, Appy. Excited. It's going to be a good one. Hello, all. Hi, all. Good evening. Another step closer. Yep. Lots been happening. Yeah. Good day. Good day, everyone. Hello. It's all hellos at the moment. All right. All my money. Yep. Are you in a position to supply some kind of internal emulation system? Pi is getting easier to supply with. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the options. There's a Pi 4 fitting kit. It's even got that nice switch. We got a little one made, so it follows that. But that is going to be. You can order it when you do it. The fitting kit's only like 39 quid or something like that. Go and have a look. But it's basically chassis cables, a little board with a switch on it, that kind of thing. So that's coming with. You can order that straight away. Hang on. All right, hello, evening. It's okay. I can hear you. Sound is good. Sounds good. You're fine. I hope you're having a good time. When can we order? Is the shop open now? Technically, it's open, but it's not ready. And if you do jump in there, watch the video. But please, it is best if you hold on until I do my announcement because it's probably, realistically, it's probably going to go live next Monday. Because I don't really want to turn it live on the Friday when I might get this information because it's the weekend. I like the weekend off. And it's going to be crazy. So more than likely on Monday it's going to go live. But there's a good reason. And I'll probably tell you either way. But I can't tell you right now. I'm a backer. We all are. Since this is a Kickstarter video, just answer my question. If you follow on videos, make your order works well. I'm an engineer, and I know nothing about this Kickstarter process. Process. Nah, Appy is good, just sticking to what he does really well. Recommendation: someone should do a basic. What do we need? Minimum outline of what someone needs to buy. The bare necessities. Not everyone is full savvy and everything. I think I covered that in the video, but there is basically it's already chosen for you. It's literally already pre-selected. When you go in, there's your monitor, there's the back plane. Please don't remove it, but if you have to, you can. Oh, just as a tip, if you do remove it, you want to buy it later, it's going to be about 50, 60 quid, not 24. Okay, bear that in mind, and shipping. So, really important you buy the back plane. And that's already put in there for you. So it's nice and simple. I can't make it any easier than that. If you're happy with that, I would add the GPS control. That's a no-brainer. Add the GPS control because then you get SCART component, CGA and EGA. That's the only thing you want to add, and then do your details. But everything's in the video. I'm a bit confused, so we can order now. Nope. Okay. Now, Mark, this is a good question, right? Bit confusing. So, can we order now? Well, no, as I said previously, because I know you asked this a while back. No, you can't. Well, technically you could, but I don't want the orders in because the reason if you place the order now, you're not going to find out what I'm waiting to find out at the end of the week. Okay, I know this is, it's just bear with me on this. Is there a link to the YouTube video for Checkmate Display Kickstart ordering it? Yes, there is, and it's coming next week. I will tell you all about it, and I'll give you the links. Everything, it's already gone out to the testers. They've tested the site, make sure it's all working okay. So they've seen the video, made some tweaks. Since then, increased the amount, they separated the instructions. Also, good, go through the description of the video because it tells you a lot in there. Can we get access to the video before the order site is open? Give us the option to sort out everything we want. Well, you know kind of what you want if you read the Kickstarter. It's all in the Kickstarter. Everything's in the Kickstarter. It's all there. The only difference now is that we've upgraded everything. Everything is way better. So it's just that they're better now than anything else. The trouble is, if I let everyone see the video, you'll instantly know what to do, and people will start going in and ordering. And I want to keep an eye on it, make sure, because there's going to be so many people hitting it. I want to make sure that everything's going smoothly. If there's any problems, I can jump in and sort out any problems, that kind of thing. I'd rather do that on a weekday. And I know I said I'd do it today. I know that, but you trust me, there's a really good reason, or not. But I won't know the answer to this until the end of the week. Backplane is a part bike. Yeah, backplane. Yeah, please buy it. Seeing on those outputs make me smile. Inputs, outputs. Checkmate, Legends, Byron and Appy. Absolutely right, Starius. Absolutely. Yeah, Byron was fantastic. I'll tell you what, because Byron actually needs a lot of credit, because I mean he said, oh, it was nothing, and the circuit is fairly not a complex thing, but he's made a great little board. He did this board and he tweaked it. He did everything I wanted to do with the board, okay, and he made this a brilliant little board. It's a simple board, it's not complex, but he did everything I want, and it meant that I could show the thing off, and it meant that my concept was real. I could show it real. People then could get behind it. All that happened was Appy came along and turned it into something that anyone could pick up and upgrade. Just slap a board in with a load of extra ports on it. Or, I mean, I'll mention this. If you... Should I mention this? Well, you already know about the Mini-Mig. There's going to be, hopefully, a Mini-Mig for this coming that slots in. If you don't know what a Mini-Mig is, it's an FPGA, basically an Amiga on FPGA. But he's having it with a 68K socket, so you can put Python, so the fastest Amiga ever made, that will just plug into the back. Screw up. Turn it on. Instant Amiga or any other core that will go on it. We also have Mr. fitting kits. Yeah, there's a Mr. fitting kit, there's a Pi 4 fitting kit, but there is also another board that they're showing interest. I'm not going to mention them, but it is showing interest in doing a version for the monitor, which is going to be good. I think lots of people are going to be supporting this. And this is all down to the fact that Appy did that fantastic backplane. You know, there's a lot of pins on this, a lot of data signals and everything going on there. It's all about video, audio, etc. and control. And it's all on that backplane. So if you don't buy the backplane, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but you're an idiot. Because it's £24, right? And we said it was going to be extra right from the beginning. But it's just the key, the secret sauce. Now, if you don't want it and remove it, it will run without it. But then you're in the cabling, running cables and stuff like that. And you won't be able to plug in the new retro scaler. So you won't be able to use that because that plugs into the backplane. This is another reason why the monitor price is going up, because we'll be including all this. Happy as most one. Talking Kickstarter really shows he knows a massive amount of sound equipment. Yep, absolutely right, J Wolf. Mr. Add-on's working on a small device that converts RF output to composite. Oh, that'd be interesting. I actually, funny enough, I've already got a little board that we plug in, gives RF straight into the HDMI. But if there's a better way of doing it, Appy. Is he 3D printing in the background? I was. Right, okay. Backplane is one flood here. Yep. Piece at last. I find the sound of 3D printing rather comforting. Yeah, you're probably on your minority there. Very nice. Is it just me, or is the streaming very poor quality? I don't think so. It looks alright to me. Anyway, I like the labelling indicating which slots a board is meant for. Yeah, I got him to tone down the logos though, because he whacking great logos. Yeah, be a bit more classy about it. He was shrinking the logos a bit. But yeah, it's the all the you get. Why do you want it in black? Oh, I just think black's cool. Okay, laptop playing up. We'll play on mobile. That board looks super neat. Combining both boards a lot nicer. Yes. And of course it performs better. It'd be more reliable. You're not relying on horrible cables, radiating signals. The two side switches, one for brown fix and one for monochrome. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, of course it is. One's the brown fix and the other one switches the monochrome on. And then the toggle, two toggles on the red, how you choose from the 4 colours. It's binary. Just what I need for my STs. Physical switches for monochrome modes. I really like that. Just watch to be amazed. Can it be switched while the monitor is operating? Oh, yes. Well, Appy's already answered that. No way. Oh, yeah, I'm an Amber fan. Very cool. Yeah, sorry, it's gone yellow. That was my fault, not Appy's. I love the blue. Reminds me of the C64. Oh, yeah. Never thought about it. Wouldn't that be reversed? Like the mono modes. It is called Appy's Retro Scaler. Yeah, we like that. We're keeping the... I always think you need an arse in a project. Is the output for Amiga the standard pin used by Amiga monitor cables? Can we use a standard Amiga cable for input to monitor? Yes, if it's a SCART cable. You need a SCART cable or component adapter. Yeah, but everyone can get a SCART cable. It's just a cable, right? So it's not a 15-way daft like that. It's not using existing monitor leads. You need an Amiga to SCART, or you're better off just everything RGB SCART. Yeah, yeah, you're right there, Darius. I remember how this monochrome idea first started, just as comments in early live streams, and now it manifested with reality. See? Exactly. It should be Appy's Retro Scaler Enhanced. Nah, it's just... Nah. You just keep it. We'll forget the E. Well worth it. So, if the Arcuda is not IPS, what is it? That's not... I don't know. I actually don't know, because I'm leaving that to them. That's their job. Once they've got it, they'll release the information. But if you want to know anything about it, go to Arcuda. Go and see their panels and have a look and have a chat with them. Because this is their part of the project. Apart from me guiding them, hopefully, certain directions, it's their project. So, backplane power and video for integrating something like single board or FPGA computers. Yes, obviously. So, basically, the backplane is all about VGA. We don't put HDMI on the backplane. So, it's all about VGA. We do have HDMI inputs, obviously. So if you're going to put like a MIST or something that needs HDMI, but anyone developing boards for it is going to do it for VGA. So all their video signals will go straight on, and Appy's got a controller. When you press the VGA switch multiple times, it just flicks around anything that's on the VGA. I'll call it a bus, but it's probably technically not that. It's just going to enable the card accordingly. When will we be sent the credentials to finish the order and pay the additional parts? I think I've already said this already. You've probably already heard this, but it was going to be today. It's fairly straightforward, actually. But it's going to be next Monday, purely because I'm waiting for some information from the Arcuda team. And you'll understand why when at the end of the... Now, unless it doesn't come to fruition, then, then I'll tell you what it was. But hopefully, but it doesn't make sense to launch now. I'm going to give them another week. Oh God, I hate this when it jumps. All right, if the Arcuda panel is going to be the same price later as it is now, then I think people wouldn't mind waiting for the upgrade. Is that the case? Is the Arcuda price constant? Yeah. So they've quoted me $399, which is basically what it was before. So they're confident they can do it at $399. That's American dollars, not Australian dollars. Okay. So they've quoted me $399 for their setup. Now that's a panel and the controller. It may turn into being like a bezel. But so if you say around $399. Give them a bit of leeway, but that's the kind of ballpark figure. then that's what they're aiming for. But as I said, if we've got to put on a new bezel to make it look great, then of course the bezel's not expensive, but the tooling is, and so you've got to factor that in. So there'll probably be a charge for that. Unless, of course, by some miracle it actually fits my bezel, but I don't think it's going to. Right, it's important to understand you're not ordering the Arcuda board from me. I ain't taking your money. I ain't taking any money. No money. All you're paying for, if you go for the Arcuda route and you want to buy the bare bones chassis, all I'm supplying is, or read the details, but I'm supplying the chassis. Okay? You'll get the chassis. More than likely get a power supply, assuming they support the power lead. But again, I can't go too much details. This is one of the reasons for delaying a little bit, because I'm waiting for them to come back with some answers. But you'll just now, this is what I've suggested is buy a full monitor. It's only 120 quid. Buy the monitor. Use it, because it could be 6 months. Use it, and as soon as they're ready, buy it. But if you're buying 2 monitors, for example, and then by all means, it's up to you. You can just buy one Arcuda just as it is and use your money. It's already paid for the chassis. You've paid for that, so but you just won't get the controller, as I said, because you're only going to throw it in the bin. Mark, I'm not answering the resolution yet because I don't know. If you want to know what they are doing, talk to them. But this is a really complex thing to do. With panels, it's people think it's just a case of make a phone call, can I have some please? It really isn't like that. It's an absolute nightmare trying to get panels, especially in small scale. You go in there for, I want 1 million panels, they'll bend over backwards for you, buy a new car, take you for dinner, all that kind of stuff. But when you're ordering like maybe 1,000, it's not so simple. Alright, so that's very important to understand. And by the way, just go to panellook.com, go and find me a panel that suits you. And they have to be in production and have a couple of thousand in stock. But that's the way to do it. And you'll see just how complex it is. So we can we add an Arcuda 1 millisecond control option? No, you can't. Because I'm not supplying it. I'm not taking your money for the Arcuda product. Okay, I'm supplying the chassis that will fit the Arcuda upgrade pack. It's very important to understand that. And plus bezel, yeah. Do we buy the Scolds? Do we buy the... you don't... Oh, I assume you mean Arcuda. Again, you're not buying the Arcuda panels from me. I recommend you buy... If you do want an Arcuda panel, because a lot of people are buying 2 or 3 monitors, so if you just buy one monitor, buy the standard monitor, right, buy it with the panel. It helps me out because I make a bit more money, right, it helps the project, and you can use it for 6 months or however long it takes them to finish their part of it. And once they've, you can order it from them and you can upgrade the whole thing. Yeah. And then it might be that you go, do you know what, I'll put that my panel and my controller and I'll put it in a cupboard, and you might order another one of my chassis because I actually quite like the fact of how good it is, and you want to have 2 of them. But if you're just ordering one monitor, it's up to you, but I would suggest that you order a complete monitor. It's already pre-added, to be fair. There is no separate panel option. Hi, I want to know what to order for the Mr. FPGA to work fully, and will it fit inside? Yes, what you want is the Mr. Fitting Kit. It's a Mr. Fitting Kit, okay? It's in there. I think it's 45 pound. I think it's 45 pound. It's basically a mount, power switch, sorry, forgive me, power switch, and then there's all the cables needed to connect it all up internally. But you need your own D10 Nano and the USB board underneath, the standard board. If you want to put the VGA board on top, fine, it'll fit. And there's all the cables are there for the whole stack. Okay, so it's all on the site. So if someone buys a monitor with the Arcuda, what happens if it doesn't happen? Can we order? Can we be converted to the standard display? Okay, what I'll do is this. I'll make you a promise, right? There will be, you'll have to pay the shipping. You'll have to pay the I can't guarantee the price will be 120, right? I can't guarantee that, but it won't be more than 150, all right, and plus shipping. So if you buy a chassis without my panel, waiting for the Arcuda, and it doesn't happen, right? I promise you all that I will make it so you can buy my panel and my controllers and the bits you need to make it one of my normal systems. So that's fine. Don't worry about that, because we're going to be selling these for quite some time. So don't worry about that. I'm not going to run off. Right? But I can't. It's no way it's going to be the 120 difference, because it just can't be. I mean, there's no way it's going to happen. So, but I would guess it would be around £150 plus shipping, because there's a few bits got to come in it. So yeah, just bear that in mind. One thing I really didn't pick up for sure on the monochrome modes, would that work with the modern? No. The mono modes only work, I'm going to say at the moment, all right? But because I have actually asked Appy about this. He's probably screaming, typing furiously. You never know. Maybe we could do. Maybe we can think of a way of doing it. But the reality is, it goes through the circuit, the CGA EGA circuitry. Yeah, it's all part of that circuitry. So it has to go through that 9-pin connector, video connector. So if you've got something that's RGBI and kind of EGA-ish resolution, you can output. Well, it's going to be no. Then maybe you can do something like that. But remember, this is like the display it's running on is 800 by 600, but it's about 644. That it's that kind of resolution. And so the answer is probably no, 90% no. Yeah, you never know what happens. It might be that Appy goes away and he goes, it'll work something out that we'll do a scan and just shove it in. I don't know. Can I order Amiga RGB cables? That's a really good question, but the answer's no, because I can't. I've got enough on my plate with stock, and you can pick them up from like eBay. If you're in Europe, it costs you £5 shipping and £10 for the £15 for the cable. So no, I'm not doing the cables. I understand people say, "Well, I don't use," because I just can't. I can't stock. You wouldn't believe. I'm having to spend a fortune on a bigger place just to get in what I've got coming. Is the capture card thingy available to... I don't know what the capture card thingy... I have no idea what you mean by the capture card thingy, Jeremy. What is available at launch for the front utility slot, the hole in the front? Okay, right, so there's a blank, it comes with that, right? But you're also, when you get there, you're going to see there's an option. Now, it's a bit like the old days, when I would sell the extras. It's all about, I hate to say it, a little bit more profit on this thing. But if you do want them, there's two options. They're £7 for two of them. I mean, they're injection molded and they're gorgeous, right? And you won't be able to 3D print for that price. But it does bring a little bit more money, and it helps because it's, this is a very expensive project. So, but it's got one with an HDMI connector and a USB and a headphone socket hole, and there's another one which has got an OLED display and a jog dial hole. But if you buy the GBS control, you'll get that with it, so you won't have to pay for that. But maybe later I'll do more, but it tends to be the community tends to get involved in doing that. With the update at the end of the week, how will that work with those of us who were your testers and have already placed our order? Will we be able to take advantage of this update? Okay, I'm not going into details, right? You're not affected. Okay, all you know is that I put the price of the GBS control up by £5, and you got it at the original price, all right? Because I had to give it a little bit more headroom on the cost, because Is right. Yeah. So if you've already placed your order, there's nothing's gonna affect you at all. I can't say more than that. Are the Mister and Pi 4 kits mutually exclusive? I'm not sure what that means, mutually exclusive. But they are two separate kits, if that's what you mean. There's a Pi 4 fitting kit, because you wouldn't have both, and a Mister fitting kit. So basically, if you've got, like, what I recommend most people do is get the standard monitor, slap in a GBS control, and a processor board. That'll fill the thing up. But if you go with that GBS control, you could put the Mister and the Pi 4 in there. As long as you've got the HDMI switch box. If not, yeah, you don't need it. So no direct Amiga, but I can use Amiga. I don't understand what you're saying. Good thing I asked. I'm sorry, Malika. I have no idea what you're saying here. Good thing I asked. So no direct Amiga. Obviously, SCART. RGB cable goes out. SCART socket plugs in. I don't know if I've got one here, but it's. No, that's not it. I haven't got one here. No. It's a standard cable. Costs about £12. It's got a 23-way video pin on one end and two audio connectors, and at the other end's a SCART lead. And then you plug that in with the GBS control. Hi, Paul. Oh, for God's sake. Hate the way it jumped. ArcDOS. If I go to the standard panel and then upgrade to Arcuda one, what can I do with the previous panel? Is it possible to use as a secondary monitor in a simpler case and switch between the two? Well, if you see the pictures, Appy, he's just got a panel and a power supply and a controller and I mean, you could, but it's not that simple because it's, you know, that it's actually the controller on its own can run on its own, so you can make your own chassis up. I mean, you know, I'm planned that far, but you know, you got a perfect. I actually think some people are going to buy the existing panel, the standard panel, and go, oh, I won't bother upgrading. It's only if you want that 1 millisecond latency. And if your reactions are that good, damn, we would get you on one of those Twitch channels. So if we just get that. So if we add nothing, we just get the chassis early. Mark, no idea what you're talking about. Sorry. If you go to, when you go to the site, you'll see I've added the monitor based on what you booked in the thing with one of our panels completely configured, and it's added. And I've also added the extra backplane. It's all ready. If that's all you want, and you don't want the GBS control or any of the other bits, you can just sort your payment and just off you go. Now, if you want to buy the chassis for the Arcuda and you don't want our panel, then you've pretty much paid for it. Okay, you've already paid for it, and the chassis will just be sent to you. You know, when their parts are finished, you can order their parts, ship and put them together, and away you go. Sorry, I'm just looking at. I suspect we'll get more questions when ordering cases. We've got to that better. Hi, Taj. I'm really looking forward to the release of this display. This is such one where I'm just curious though. Would a from PoE fit into the bezel of? Yeah, Stephen M. Yes. Sorry, these questions they keep jumping, and when I'm scrolling up. Um, oh, so okay, right, Malachi. Thank you. Thanks for clearing that up. Sorry, I didn't know what he's talking about. Yes. Again, it's all on the site. You can read all about it, but and it's all in the video, and I've already talked about it before. But basically, there's a HDMI output, and if you pay for the HDMI output option, not only do you get the HDMI out, but you also get a capture card. It's not a card; it's a dongle. It's a USB dongle. And the reason I'm giving everyone one of those is because if you, for like me, have got a black magic card that plugs into your machine, it doesn't work. It doesn't recognise 5443 displays. It just doesn't recognise them, so you can't record. Hence, giving you the card, giving you the capture card, plug it in your PC, Mac, whatever, and you can record, stream, whatever you want to do with the video, and it works with the 1280 display. Don't ask the question why doesn't it output 1920, because it's 1280 by 1024. What it does is the outputs exactly the same display that way. Now bear in mind you'll lose all that with the Arcuda. I'm pretty sure you won't get that with the Arcuda, but again, this is another one of those. There's certain things you have to, when you get the Arcuda, you get that great the low latency, but potentially you're going to lose stuff. Having said that, we're trying to work with them so that you get as much of it as you can, but of course, they're not using our controller, so you're probably going to lose that. I don't know whether the HDMI out is going to happen with the Arcuda. No, okay, so you don't. Look, here's the thing. Whatever is displayed on our panel goes out the HDMI. So if you've put in a 720 display and it's on the screen, it's filled the panel, it's all set up really nice, that is going out. There's actually, I don't know if I've got the picture in here. I think I have actually got a picture of it. Let me, where is it? Nope. Ah, oh, damn. Do you know what? I did actually have a picture of it. That's very annoying. Hang on. Let me see if I can show you that picture. Right, let me show you this. Can you see this? So if you're on HDMI out, so what you're looking at there, ignore the picture, that's going in composite, right? And it's not focused in very well, and it was moving. But what's on the right hand side is coming out of my which one is that? Oh, that's my AVOS machine running the emulator. Is that actually the AVOS machine? Anyway, I think it's the emulator running full screen. So whatever's on that display is being output straight into my other display, and it's exactly what's on the display. Yeah, the Amiga doesn't have to output HDMI. You don't need to. You just want to get a SCART cable. So instead of getting an HDMI solution, go and get a SCART cable. Cost you 12 quid. And plug it in the back. Right? There are jobs done. Now, that's not to say that the HDMI won't be a huge amount better, because it will be better. But you'll be pretty impressed with the display. It's better than my old monitors, I'll tell you. They're much better than them. Happy about that USB dongle. To be honest, I have the Blackmagic Mini 4K. Yeah, so Taj, I can't remember if you did add that option, but I can't remember. Don't discuss it here. I can't remember if you did, because Taj was testing. But he wasn't actually. He kind of jumped in there. So go back and have a look because you need to check. Oh, you might have done it. I don't know. Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Oh, that's all right then. Yeah, because it's a good one to go for. I don't know if it suits everybody, but it's actually quite a good one to go for. But again, remember, it's HDMI out on our board and panel. Okay? It's not necessarily going to be part of the other panel. I have to be clear about that, alright? Very important. But that's not to say it's not going to come for the Arcuda. It's just you're going to have to give stuff up with the Arcuda, but we're just trying to work it so you give up as little as possible. But the gains, because you're going to have to swap certain functionality for the gains of the low latency, basically. Right, I'm pretty much done now. So is there any more questions? Be quick, because I'm going to go down and sit with my wife because I'm cooking in here. It's really hot. As I said, I'm going to do another stream next week. You may find because it's not going to be till Monday. You may find I do a video or in the morning to say, right, do your worst, and then do a stream in the evening. We'll see, but I'll probably will do a stream. If I don't launch it, I might launch it with the stream, but then maybe not. I might do it in the morning. Who knows? I don't know yet. But I'm waiting for some answers from Arcuda, which I can't talk about. I'm waiting for some answers, and then and over the weekend I've got to update the Arcuda page to reflect the answers that I've got. Now I know they're making one. There's no issue there. They're going to make one. What we need to tie up is obviously the functionality, what you're going to gain, what you're going to miss, because of course we've moved this on light years. Again, I say Appy's moved this on light years. This project, and it's way beyond what we originally was talking about. So this is why I was stressed. If you're only buying one monitor, you're better off buying the full monitor. Get your full system, right? Use it, because I do think it's going to be they're going to be a few months later. Use it for a while, and then if you want to upgrade to get the lower latency panel, by all means. But you have at least got it, and you can see, you'll understand at that point the bits that you're foregoing to go for that. Okay, it's important just to think about that. I've got people ordering one of each anyway, so an Arcuda chassis and a normal monitor. But if you're just ordering one monitor, I would recommend that you buy the full monitor. What size keyboard would go in the bag? Good question. Just normal 10 keyless. It's the normal 10 keyless one. Sorry, talk to the mic would be good. It's the normal 10 keyless one, but not massive ones. So if you've got one of my keyboards, it'll take that. I might make it a little. I can't go any wider. But it will take a fairly standard one. Hang on. Oh, no, I'm not doing it because it's so noisy, that Velcro. I know I've got a little 4-year-old asleep. What size keyboard? Just another week. We can't wait. How much will the bag be for this monitor? It's all on the site. I think it was 95 quid to be fair. And I've been blunt because I've added £20, 20 or £25 on the cost of it. So if you get it later, we're probably going to arrange it with the people who are making them so that you can order direct from them. If you live somewhere like Australia, think twice, because it adds a lot to the shipping. I mean, yeah, I suppose that's another point. Shipping to Australia and New Zealand, you really got to give me a kidney. I have tried. We have got it down a bit, and we are looking into it, but it's really expensive. And the annoying thing is, half of it is the shipping cost. The rest of it is stupid fees, extra fuel charge, COVID emergency stuff. Why? Why? Is there an emergency in Australia? £45 of the charge you're going to see is emergency charge. 40 quid is fuel charge, surcharge. You literally are getting your pants pulled down. I'm really sorry. I can't do anything about that, but it's just horrendous. Again, watch a later video about that. But yeah, so I forgot about the keyboard. Wired or wireless connect? It's all wired. Well, no, it's not. If you buy a wireless keyboard, what are you connecting it to, by the way? I'm not supplying keyboards. I've done that. I haven't got time for that. So if you've got a thing and you want a wireless keyboard, put a dongle in the back of the Pi, the USB, or put it into the Mister, and you can use that. And I have been running wireless. I hate to say, well, no, actually, my shipping to Australia is actually pretty quick. It's just really expensive. I can't do anything about it, and I'll probably show you the costs, literally. But I have managed to get it down a bit, but not a lot. We did look into potentially loading a container, but it's just not going to work. It is down to the extras they're putting on a ship. The shipping charge itself is quite reasonable, actually. I'll tell you, the shipping charge is about 100 quid, and then there's about 80 quid. This is just for one monitor of extras. So if you're all out there, you're thinking, I'm gonna, and bear in mind, 2 monitors, double shipping for Australia. So unless you're loaded, probably going to get 1 monitor. And if you add the bag, it's not the full size, because I did originally plan to put the monitor in the bag, put the bag in the box. But we ended up with this really special, very protective molded foam, and to protect the monitor. And so we're going to get boxes made that are like that thick, the same width of the main box, but it's adding a third of the volume, an extra third, and that amount of extra in cost, because it just goes up and up and up. It's ridiculous. There's nothing I can do about it. Right, by twisty flashes I mean mini screen and turning up. Oh, okay, you mean that. Right, look guys, I'm going now because I want to go see my wife. Appy's just said on his thing, and I was just working up the excitement up before you bore them to death. I'll take it all back. I'll take back everything I said. No, I don't. Right, that's it. I'm gonna go. Thank you very much for putting up with it. And I will see you probably next week. Where is this thing? I'll see you next week, and speak to you soon. Don't forget, watch the video. Bye.